Welcome viewers, this is Danny from Lego Buff Productions with another episode of Pimp My Set. If you're new to this series, this is where I take existing Lego sets and improve upon them. Today, I'll be working on the Christmas tree car from the Lego Winter Holiday Train set. You'll see the full train at the end of the video. So today what I'm going to start off with is, if you remember from last episode, is I had built this kind of prototype that I had originally connected under here, and this will be how the Christmas trees will spin. This is pretty much using the exact same design from the set. So basically when the wheels go down, you can see that the tree does in fact spin. However, I made this pretty small because I was basing it off of this model of wheels, trying to get it nearly exactly the same size. This is from an actual Lego train set. However, going back to that train set, I was looking at some of the other cars, specifically the engine in that set, and I noticed it actually had this larger set of wheels right here. So you can see it's significantly larger, and the larger the set of wheels is, it's a lot easier to fit in this mechanism and make it more stable, a lot more similar to the set than my own custom design. So I'd prefer to make it a bit larger, so that's what I'm going to start off doing, and then I'll be able to put it in on this detailed kind of railing over the wheels. I'm up in the Lego room now, and I'll be giving you a brief overlook of what I'll be working on. So right here we have the prototype of wheels that I made, and then right here is the new size of the wheel set that I'll be using. So basically I'll just be taking the mechanics from here and putting them in a wheel set the size of this one. Alright, I have all the pieces that I'm going to need here, pretty much the same ones as the original set. Let's go ahead and put it together. After just starting out, I realized another problem that I would have. I need to have this section, which basically supports the main mechanism right here, exactly in the middle, so that there can be an axle coming out of here and an axle coming out of here, so that when I put on the covers on the side here, the axles can go through those. However, originally I had a axle inside between here, there's an axle, and I had it a bit longer, one of those gray ones, and it was just too big, so I went down to a smaller red one. Now let's finish it off. Alright, I finished this up, putting the mechanism into the larger wheel set. The wheel guard also does fit over them well. I just have to add a few plates onto these Technic bricks right there. But first off, I need to make sure to see where it's going to fit inside of the base of the train car. Again, this set of wheels over here is from that older train set that I had. I just wanted to make sure when building my new set of wheels that this was the same height, the magnetic connector there between the cars, so I can model it exactly after the size of this one. Here you can see the two train wheel sets now. This one will be going on the back of this one will be going on the front of it, and this will turn the one tree, and there'll be a gear under that which will turn all the trees. So I'm just gonna raise this one up a bit, add on the magnetic connector thing on this side, and then go from there. So I was able to finish up this set of wheels right here. This is what the final version looks like. And then I was able to slip it onto the base of the car, and it works perfectly. The axle does rotate, and then the only problem I ran into is when you slip on a gear on the top, because my plan is to have a bunch of gears connected together going all the way down the train and have a bunch of trees on top of those so each tree can spin. What happens now, it may be a little bit hard to tell, but there's not a lot of space left on top of the gear. Like, this axle is pretty much all used up, so I can't attach a tree here. I also need a little bit more space above it to be able to hide the gear as well. So my solution is to use a larger axle. Now the only downside to using a larger axle is these are special axles with kind of a flat end on one side, and the next size up is pretty significantly larger. So let's see what that looks like. Slide the gear on here, pop it up through here, place it on there already. It's looking pretty tall. very tall when I put on the base there. Let's see, when I slide on the gear, get a better look for how the final thing will look like. So that's what, I guess it'll just have to look like that. My thinking is I'll be able to hide that gear, the whole axle inside of this tree, or build a different tree that goes on this end that has some Technic bricks in it that you can easily kind of slide the tree into the axle so that it'll hide the rest of that. Now I'm going to work on basically hiding the axle, making a whole system for a bunch of gears, and we'll see how that turns out. Here's what I've come up with. It is actually a lot simpler than I thought. This is the kind of idea I had originally in my head, but I didn't think it would work out. It did, which is awesome. As it moves, you can see those gears are in fact spinning. There. And so what it is basically an axle going through a Technic brick, gears on top of the axle, and then there's a headlight brick or a modified brick with a stud on the front one end, another Technic brick on the other end to hold kind of the center part in place. This little stud part that pokes down through there coming out of the axle fits perfectly between the set of 4 studs there in the middle, so when this spins you can see that the axles and then therefore the gears spin as well. I can just simply repeat that design going all the way down now. Alright, so I finished up that gear train there, just made a few minor tweaks, and then I threw on some Christmas trees that I had from some Lego City advent calendars, and it works out great. As you can see, when the train car moves, the trees rotate. You may notice there's a bunch of gaps in between them. That's because there's actually going to be, what I ended up doing was, I have the big gear, then it goes to small gear, big gear. Basically these small gears are here just to connect the big gears together. And there's 2 big gears not being used. There's going to be another one, I just have to order it. I was short just 1 gear that'll be on that end, so there'll be a total of 6 trees. And I'll be using this design, which is from the holiday, winter holiday train set. So the actual train that I'm modeling this after, taking the tree design from that. And as you can see, it's a lot smaller than these trees, because when I have these stick out so far that they'd hit each other, if I had, for example, if I picked up another one from another advent calendar and like put it on here, it would just hit the trees as it rotated. So if they're all this size, they'll all fit on there. Now I just have to kind of beautify it, make a nice border that goes around it, and then a nice thing that covers up the gears so that you'll only see the trees. That's all the progress I'll be making this week. Before I finish up the episode, let's take a look at some of the sets you guys have pimped. Remember, you can share these with me using the hashtag pimpmyset on Instagram. Those are some great creations. Again, you can share yours with me using the hashtag pimpmyset on Instagram. So for next week, I plan on finishing up the Christmas tree car. I would like to place 1 large bricklink order. There's a few pieces that I need for the engine and the coal car behind it, and then the piece for the Christmas trees and that gear that I need, and then just a few other detailed pieces that I plan on using when I kind of build up the border around those gears. So I plan to finish up that car next week, and then also start on the next car, which will contain a bunch of presents and a little conveyor belt type thing that'll be used to load and unload presents from the car. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my channel for some other awesome LEGO videos, and have a great day.